Do you ever think about what happens to your body after you die? Do you ever think about what you would want done with your body after you die? Because death is something all of us are going to experience at some point in our lives, whether that's the death of a loved one, a pet, or our own transition. It's not anything any of us can avoid. It's the other side of life. It's the other side of that coin. And so, given what I've been doing lately, I've been thinking a lot about death and bodies and ceremony and how to honor our bodies, how to honor our lives and the lives of those we loved, and what that really means. And so I wanted to talk a little bit today about what I'm working on and what I have going on. And maybe you might find it interesting, or you might decide that you want to know more, or to have your own ideas about your own death or those of your loved ones, and to sort of talk about it in a way where it's not so scary, it's not so taboo. I'm Hannah Winters. I am the co-founder of Halo Goodbye, which is our it's a beautiful and interactive ritual of releasing ashes into near space. So what we do is we put cremated ashes into a biodegradable latex weather balloon, and then we fill it with lift gas. And in the ceremony itself, people can share, just like a regular funeral. You can share stories, you can share poems, you can play music, and kind of customize it however you want. But then what we do is we fill the balloon with lift gas, and then somebody cuts the string and it is released into the air, into the sky. And it's a beautiful ceremony, it's a beautiful ritual. It feels really meaningful. If it's right for you, I've witnessed it several times now, and it feels like such a powerful letting go. And that, I think, is really important when dealing with the death of a loved one. And so that's what we're doing. That's what Halo Goodbye is. It's this interactive, customizable ceremony that ends with your loved one's ashes being released into the high stratosphere, where the balloon then bursts and releases the ashes, which are then caught on the winds and travel through the sky. And it's pretty cool. I'm pretty excited about it. I think it's a really interesting, unique way of honoring loved ones. And so I'm excited to be able to share that with you, and to talk a little more about it. So yeah, one of the things I wanted to touch on is, I get this question a lot. Is it how environmentally friendly is this? And generally speaking, releasing latex balloons into the environment is ill-advised. Generally speaking, that's not something we want to do, because the balloons themselves, they can, excuse my dog. So the smaller balloons, they will stay in one piece, and they will end up in the environment, and sometimes animals can eat them, and that makes them sick, and it's not good for the environment. It can take from 6 months to 4 years for latex to break down. And that's the same with the weather balloons. But here's the difference, is that the weather balloon, when we fill it up on the ground, it is several feet in diameter. It's a pretty big balloon. Scoop, I'm trying to do something here. No borking. Excuse me. So when we fill it up on the ground, it is a fairly large balloon. But as it rises, because of the way air pressure is, as the balloon rises, it gets even bigger, and it gets so big and it stretches, and the balloon itself gets extremely thin. And by the time it reaches altitude, either from 90 to 100,000 feet in the air, that's real high up there, it's cold. Oh, it's starting to rain. That's kind of fun. It's cold up there, and the latex freezes. When the latex freezes, when it gets to altitude and it's as big as it can get, it then bursts. And it bursts into these teeny tiny little like shreds, little fragments. And those fragments get dispersed. Along with the ashes, they get dispersed. Now you're 100,000 feet up in the air. That's really high up there. And so it gets dispersed over a large area, to the extent that it's not going to settle all together in any one spot. Oh, now it's really raining. Oh, I'm getting rained on. It's okay. I'm from the Pacific Northwest. I love the rain. So by the time it freezes and bursts and disperses the ashes and the little shards of latex, so they do return to the earth, but they're so small that even if an animal ate it, it wouldn't harm it. It wouldn't make a difference. And because they're so small and so thin, they'll biodegrade a lot faster than a whole balloon, like what you would normally see, like a party balloon. And so it's significantly more environmentally friendly than like releasing some balloons into the air. The other thing, something interesting that I learned while doing all of this research is that this is considered to be environmentally supported enough that the National Weather Service releases these kinds of balloons, hundreds of them, every single day. Hundreds of them get released into the atmosphere every day, so that they've got devices that will record the atmospheric conditions, so we know what the weather. That's how we know the weather. They still use balloons. Isn't that cool? So as far as the environmental impact, it's not that it has no impact. There's also cremation itself. There's an environmental impact there, and so those are all things to keep in mind if you're trying to be really green. It's all, you got to think about all these different things. But as far as the impact goes, it's very low. It's a low impact, and we also use hydrogen as our lift gas, which helium is a finite resource, and it is used in medical stuff. It's got more important uses, I guess. And so we chose to use hydrogen because it is freely available. We're not going to run out of hydrogen. We might run out of helium one day, but we're not running out of hydrogen anytime soon. Like, that's it's everywhere, so people can make it themselves at home sometimes if you've got the right equipment. So that's why we chose hydrogen. And we follow all the safety protocols, so it's very safe. It's very very safe and reasonably environmentally friendly. So if those are concerns of yours, that's a question I get a lot about stuff. Is around that. Other questions I get are, is this legal? Are we allowed to even do this? And yes, so there's the FAA. The FAA has regulations about unmanned balloons, and so there's specific things that you have to do. You have to file a NOTAM, which is a notice to the airplane flying the pilots. Just to let everybody know that this is what we're doing. If you see a big balloon in the sky, it's accounted for. We know why. You know why there's a big balloon in the sky. It's not aliens this time. So that's another question I get. And then why would you want to do this? Why would you want to send either your remains or a loved one's or your pet even, why would you want to do that? Well, I'm not going to try and sell you my product, because I think that if you wanted to do it, you would feel it. You would say, this is it. This is what I want. This is what I want to do for my dad. I've got my dad's ashes sitting in the can on the mantle, and I want to do something special with that. And, or your dog, you know, that's another question I get a lot is, can we do pets? Yes, absolutely. Pets, I love pets. Yeah. I mean, my dog Leonard, he's only 18 now, so, you know, hopefully we've got a few more decades with Leonard, but, you know, when his time finally comes, I would love for him to make a cosmic launch into the cosmos. That's where my beloved Leonard belongs, because he's just such a special boy. So if you feel that way about your pet, yeah, absolutely. We would love to do pet ceremonies. And you know, that's the thing, is like, this is the kind of thing where, like, if you hear about it and you feel like, wow, that's really special, that's really cool, that's how you know. That's how you know that this would be for you. But you know, alternatively, if you're like, well, my dad's been dead for 15 years. We never talked about it. I don't know if he would want this. That's really something I think that is important to think about. Like, how would your dad or whoever, would they want this? Oh, we got rain on our, now it's really coming down. You know, sometimes you don't know. Sometimes you don't know whether or not, you know, you don't know. Like, my mom died suddenly 15 years ago when I was 22, and I didn't know, like, we didn't really talk about, I knew she wanted to be cremated, but I didn't know anything beyond that. So for me, thinking like, well, is that something I would want to do for her? And I believe that it is. I think she would get a real big kick out of it. I think it's beautiful. I can really imagine, you know, this is something I'm probably going to do here pretty soon. So I can just imagine the whole ceremony. I can imagine, like, what color balloon. It would be pink for my mother. What music I would want to play, and I can just really visualize the whole thing, and I can feel her. You know, I'm a woo-woo spiritual guy, so, like, I can feel her. I can feel her approval, I guess, in this. And so I just really think that there's something beautiful about really taking the time to do something that feels like closure. And maybe not closure, but something that feels deliberate. Doing something deliberate and thoughtful and intentional for that person or that animal that has died. And I think that sometimes when we lose somebody, it can feel really overwhelming, and it can feel like, oh, well, we just have to rush through and get this stuff done because I'm grieving and I don't have the space to plan something special. Well, it's not too late. If you've got your loved one's ashes, it's not too late to do that. Like I said, my mom died 15 years ago, and I'm planning this for her. And because when I was 22, I didn't have the capacity to plan something. I didn't have the capacity to really think about what would be the most beautiful way to honor her. I was dealing with my own grief, my own, you know, feelings, and then, you know, you navigate other people and what they want, and so this, you know, this it can be really confusing. It can be really overwhelming, and you kind of just want to get it over with. So I just really want to share this as like an option, as a person who, I live my life based off of what feels right to me, what in my heart feels right. And so to me, I know that there are people out there who would find this to be perfect for what they want to do for their loved ones. And that's all I'm trying to share, is I wanted to share this with you guys so that maybe if you thought, man, yeah, that's, my dad loved space. My grandpa loved space. He didn't know that was an option. You know, like, you didn't even know it was an option because we're just bringing this out. You know, you can get a rocket, but those are expensive. A rocket's very expensive. A weather balloon is a bit more affordable than rockets. So anyway, if this is something that sounds interesting to you, or if you want to know more, or if you have any questions, you can comment here. You can visit our website. You can email me, and find out more. I'm happy to talk to you about any of this stuff, any questions you might have. And I'm a reverend, ordained with the ULC, and so I'm happy to officiate any ceremonies, funeral ceremonies, but also, you know, you can bring anybody in that you would like. It's a very customizable, very flexible thing that we can do. So yeah, that's what I just wanted to share that, and kind of give you some background details. And like I said, if you have any questions, or if you want to talk about it, or if you want to maybe schedule a launch, hit me up. I'm located in Colorado, but we can go a lot of different places, particularly like the Pacific Northwest or Arizona. There's a lot, you know, it's mobile. So however far away we have to go, we might have to do some like travel costs. But other than that, like, I'm very capable of doing this just about anywhere. We just have to find the right spot, a good spot. So yeah, I'll just leave this here. Thank you for listening, and I hope that you found this informative and enjoyable to watch, and I hope to hear from some of you. Thanks. Bye.